Welcome to the Cheating Story Lab. After you finish viewing, please spread this tale as it might resonate with someone. I am the son who opted for my father's memory over a woman who failed to comprehend the essence of sacrifice. My father passed away on a Tuesday. This fact remains etched in my mind because Tuesdays were his preferred day. He always asserted that Tuesdays symbolized the true work, as everyone was recovering from the weekend on Mondays and had already checked out early by Fridays, but not Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, he believed, one constructed something enduring. Indeed, he built much. His commercial real estate portfolio spanned across 3 states, comprising 12 properties, office buildings, retail centers, and a single mixed-use development that took him 8 years to complete. He began with merely a GED, a construction job, and an unyielding resolve to work 20-hour days. By the time I was born, he had already accumulated his first million. Upon my college graduation, his net worth surpassed $40 million. Despite his modest exterior, we shared the same suburban home he purchased in 1989. He remained loyal to his Toyota Camry, replacing it only when the odometer reached 200,000 miles. His watch collection consisted of pieces he'd owned since the 80s. He was a proponent of understated wealth, preferring to construct meaningful assets and leave behind legacies that genuinely benefited people. When an unexpected cardiac arrest took his life without prior warning, I inherited everything: the investment portfolio, the management firm, the bank accounts. All he had diligently built over 4 decades. 3 months post his funeral, I requested my fiancée Olivia to sign a prenuptial agreement. Our relationship dated back to 4 years, having met at a charity gala. One of those events where attendees feigned concern for art education while primarily networking and indulging in expensive wine. She was a marketing executive for a mid-sized tech firm, intelligent, attractive, and self-assured. Everyone turned to observe as she let out her captivating laugh. I, a man sitting in the corner sipping on a solitary scotch, was contemplating a discreet exit. My father, who valued community involvement, had compelled me to attend this event despite my shared disdain for such gatherings. He'd even purchased a table for 12. The first to approach was Olivia, who pointed out that I looked like someone longing to be elsewhere, an observation with which I concurred and laughed about. We conversed for 3 hours. She was unaware of my family connections or the nature of my business. To her, I was simply another man in a borrowed tuxedo. After 2 years of dating, I proposed to her. The proposal took place at the same restaurant where we had our initial meaningful encounter, an ordinary Italian eatery with checkered tablecloths and candles tucked inside wine bottles. She cried tears of joy, immediately accepted my proposal, and started planning our June wedding that very night. 200-guest garden ceremony reception at an upstate vineyard. Mother delighted, previously withdrawn due to father's demise, found renewed life in planning. Everything went smoothly until my father's longtime attorney, Leonard Graves, summoned me to his office. He had been my father's legal advisor for 3 decades, gray-haired, wearing wire-framed glasses, a man whose quiet voice carries weight. He handled the estate transfer and guided me through inheritance documents, explaining property management structures. 3 months after my father's passing, Leonard revealed something my father had wished to discuss. He insisted I secure a prenuptial agreement before marriage to safeguard our assets. Leonard pushed a file toward me, containing an outdated document that required updating, particularly regarding current asset values and fiancé details. The file's framework remained solid. I scrutinized the contents of the folder. It was detailed, including provisions for separate properties, no claims to premarital assets, typical terms as I comprehended. He seemed keen on this arrangement. I inquired if he was certain. Leonard's countenance relaxed at my query. He had witnessed numerous friends endure challenging divorces. Individuals who constructed empires from scratch, yet lost half due to their reliance on love as a sole form of protection. This was not a fate he desired for you, as he had laboriously constructed this empire, not for someone to claim half after a few years of matrimony. Knowing Olivia wasn't such a person. While acknowledging her likely virtues, Leonard expressed cautious agreement, stating that those who truly love don't resent prudent precautions. It's not about trust, it's about foresight. After hearing his words and contemplating my father's aspirations, I hesitated to bring up the issue for fear of offending Olivia. Eventually, I concluded that honoring my father's wishes was important, given his lifelong commitment to creating something significant. On a Sunday evening, while preparing dinner together at her apartment, amid soft music and red wine, I brought up a sensitive topic regarding the wedding. "There's something I need to talk about," I began. "It's about the prenuptial agreement." She looked up from the cutting board, smiling. "Cold feet?" I asked, but her smile faded. "No, not at all," I explained, taking a breath. "My father's attorney had given me a prenup, drafted years ago, and he wanted me to have her sign it before we got married." The smile was gone now as she heard the word prenup. "It's just standard stuff," I clarified, "protecting premarital assets, properties, and businesses. Whatever we build together will still be joint, but it means that if we divorce, you wouldn't have a claim to my money." The discussion isn't centered around money. What does it concern then? She set down the knife, her hands trembling. "Are you wedding me for your estate?" "You questioned." "Not at all." I tried to clarify, explaining about my father's experiences, men who lost everything, and how this prenup was merely prudent protection, not a sign of mistrust or lessened affection. However, she didn't want to listen. "If you truly loved me, you wouldn't ask me to sign this. If signing it doesn't alter your love for me, then why should it matter?" I said. Yet, my words came out harshly, not what I intended, and I couldn't take them back. Frustrated, they slipped out. "I need some time to reflect," she responded softly. I left the apartment, drove home with a tight grip on the wheel, pondering how such a casual conversation could escalate so drastically. She didn't call for 3 days until finally she did, her voice cold. She declared her resolution: no prenuptial agreement for her. If a contract is forced upon her, the wedding will be called off. "Can we discuss this, Olivia?" "There's nothing left to discuss. Either you trust me or you don't. Either we share everything or we part ways. I won't initiate a marriage by signing a document that implies my commitment ends when the funds due, regardless of what lawyers claim it says. I understand its wording, but I won't comply." Feeling constricted, I responded, "It seems you'd rather cancel the wedding than engage in this discussion, and it's your initiative to introduce a contract into our relationship. I believed we were creating a life together. But apparently, financial matters from my father hold more significance for you. Don't involve him in this," she interjected angrily. "This," she asserted, "is the rationale behind your actions. He's deceased yet exerting influence over us both. Now he controls my life as well," she declared, her voice filled with tension. The line fell silent as I heard her labored, angry breaths. "If that's indeed your sentiment," I murmured softly, "then perhaps you are correct. Maybe we shouldn't proceed with the marriage." She ended the call. For an hour, I sat alone in my vacant apartment, fixated on nothingness. A part of me yearned to phone her again, offer apologies, propose we discard the prenup for love surpasses contracts. However, another part resonated like my father's voice, questioning me. If she truly cherishes you, why is she so resentful about preserving your father's legacy? The next morning, I contacted Leonard. She rejected my proposal. She'd cancel the wedding if I persisted. After a moment of silence, he inquired, "And what did you reply?" I allowed her. Another brief pause followed. Then he asked, "What did you say?" I let her. "After I believe your father would approve of that choice, it doesn't seem so pleasant at this moment. But, could you do a favor for me?" I interrupted. "Could you conduct a background investigation on Olivia, focusing on her financial history, employment records, and any publicly available information? Are you absolutely certain about this? My father relied on you to safeguard his legacy. Now, I'm relying on you to protect me. I have something for you in a week." The background report came through on a Thursday. Leonard summoned me to his office once more. This time his countenance was grave. "You must brace yourself," he said. "The information I uncovered isn't favorable." He opened a file. Inside were bank statements, credit reports, legal documents. "Olivia has accumulated $83,000 in credit card debt," Leonard stated. "For the past 2 years, she has only managed to pay the minimum due. Her salary barely covers her rent and expenses. She's drowning financially." My stomach plummeted. "Additionally," he went on, "she had been previously engaged, 3 years prior. A man known as Gregory Torres, a venture capitalist with substantial wealth. had been in a relationship with her for 18 months before ending it. Records from the court revealed she sued him over a breach of promise to marry. The case was eventually dropped, but not before she attempted to claim joint ownership of assets they had. Discussed sharing. I felt nauseous as I read through the papers. There's more. Leonard slid another document across. 6 months before meeting her, she was dismissed from her previous job due to a sexual harassment allegation that was later proven baseless. She had accused her supervisor of inappropriate conduct. The company conducted an investigation and discovered surveillance footage showing she had fabricated the incident. They reached a confidential settlement rather than taking the matter public, but they did terminate her employment. The reason this information wasn't disclosed earlier? Because you never sought it out. Leonard's tone was calm yet firm. Since you were immersed in love, and love often leads us to see the best in others, your father advocated for protection. I returned home in a dreamlike state. The woman I intended to marry, the woman I had envisioned sharing my life with, appeared as a stranger that night when she called. I've been contemplating, she said, her voice softer now. Perhaps I reacted impulsively. Maybe we can find a solution for the prenuptial agreement. I don't want to lose you because of this. A week prior, such words would have brought me comfort. Now they left me feeling chilled. What caused your change of heart? I inquired. I love you, I miss you. I don't wish a meaningless contract to damage what we share. A contract, that was the legacy my father bequeathed to her, a meaningless contract. I need more time, I told her. I will contact you next week. I ended the call before she could respond. Over the past fortnight, I rectified a long overdue action. I scrutinized our relationship anew, discerning patterns I had been oblivious to earlier. I noticed how she consistently preferred high-end dining experiences, yet joked about my treating her without ever suggesting bill splitting. Her frequent discussions about upgrading her apartment, buying a new car, indulging in luxurious holidays, always under the assumption that I would finance them. I recalled her premature interest in our properties and investments, even before our marriage, inquiring about asset values, rental incomes, and management frameworks. The night of my proposal was fresh in memory, followed swiftly by the question of where we'd reside, whether my apartment or a larger property for us, revealing she never truly loved me. She cherished what I symbolized, security, an escape from her financial woes, a lifestyle she couldn't afford independently. When I proposed the prenuptial agreement, she grew anxious as it would limit her access to assets she had planned on acquiring. 3 weeks following our argument, I contacted her. We need to talk, I said. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? She agreed, sounding relieved. Does this suggest you've reconsidered the prenup? I inquired. We'll go over everything tomorrow, was her response. We met at the same cafe where we had numerous dates. Upon her arrival, she looked stunning with flawless makeup, an expensive gown, and a radiant smile. I've longed for you so dearly, she expressed, extending her hand across the table. I didn't reciprocate her gesture. My stance on the prenup remains unchanged, I said softly. In fact, I believe we should call off the wedding entirely. Her smile faltered. What are you suggesting? I've had ample time to reflect. Concerning us, regarding your statement, and there's one point where you were correct, we shouldn't enter a marriage with uncertainties. I'm ready to sign the prenuptial agreement now. However, I don't believe that's what you truly desire. Instead, I think you're after my father's assets, and you'd accept the prenup as long as it potentially benefits you in future. Her complexion paled. That's unfounded. I'm aware of your financial struggles. Olivia, I know about Gregory. I know why you left your previous job. She rose abruptly, causing a loud chair-scraping sound that attracted the attention of others around us. Did you spy on me? I was merely protecting myself. There's a distinction. You had no justification. I had every justification. We were moments away from becoming each other's spouse. My father worked tirelessly for 40 years to build something substantial, and I wasn't prepared to let someone exploit it due to my blinded love. Her tears now flowed with anger and desperation. She declared, I loved you. I countered, no, you loved the notion of me providing for you. There's a distinction. I rose, left payment for my coffee on the table, and exited without glancing back. She called 17 times that day, left messages pleading for reconsideration, texted asserting misunderstandings could be rectified, offered explanations for working through our issues. I blocked her number. The wedding cancellation was chaotic. Deposits were lost. Vendors were disgruntled. Guests puzzled. My mother was heartbroken. She'd been ecstatic about Olivia and my moving on following my father's demise. Yet when I clarified why, showed her the background check, detailed our conversations and patterns, her expression stiffened. Your father was aware, she whispered. He encountered her twice and inexplicably perceived she wasn't suitable. I chose not to acknowledge it, assuming he was merely being overprotective, safeguarding what he had constructed. She covered my hand and said, he was safeguarding you. The possessions, wealth, were simply items. You were what truly mattered. 6 months later, I learned through mutual acquaintances that Olivia was engaged once more, this time to a banker. It seemed they'd crossed paths shortly following our separation, which made me ponder if she had been developing contingency plans even during our relationship. A year afterwards, I discovered they had divorced. He demanded a prenuptial agreement. She signed, believing she could salvage the union. When the marriage disintegrated, she received nothing. Occasionally, I ponder phoning her not to boast but to discern, to inquire if any of our relationship was authentic or if I merely served as a tool. Yet I refrain from dialing because I already anticipate the response, and listening wouldn't alter anything. My father's enterprise flourishes. I've penetrated 2 additional markets, developed 3 extra properties, boosted the portfolio value by 18%. I adhere to the same Tuesday-centric timetable he did. I drive a practical vehicle, reside in a humble dwelling, create things that have significance, occasionally date women oblivious to my wealth at first, women who appreciate me before they know my worth. It's more gradual, cautious, but genuine. Last month, I encountered someone at an assembly regarding affordable housing development. She's a social worker, operates a battered Honda, concurs with my father's viewpoint that wealth implies responsibility rather than indulgence. We've gone on 3 dates. She amuses me. She's never once inquired about my profession beyond the perfunctory answer I provide, property management. I'm not rushing things, making no hasty assumptions, and should the opportunity arise, if it arises, I'll request a prenuptial agreement again, because my father instilled in me that people who genuinely care for you won't be alarmed by practical precautions. They'll comprehend that some matters surpass passion, some legacies are worth preserving. I visit my father's tomb every Tuesday, sit on the nearby bench, inform him about the properties, update him on the business decisions I'm making. Last week, I informed him about ending things with Olivia, about the struggle of leaving someone I loved, about finally comprehending what he was attempting to safeguard me from. The wind stirred, rustling through the trees, and for a brief instant, I could almost hear his voice. Tuesdays are when you establish something enduring, son. Remember that. I recall. Dad, I remember. If this narrative strikes a chord with you, share it. Someone else may require hearing it too. And if you're confronted with a similar dilemma between safeguarding what matters and gratifying someone who fails to grasp self-sacrifice, remember, the right person will never demand you to choose. Welcome to Cheating Story Lab. This is where truth outweighs comfort.